Yes.
So let's move on to things we are actually excited about outside of an academic category.
Yes.
So, with our usual habit of doing a new thing and an old thing, we actually had a hard time finding a new thing this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a whole lot of new stuff dropping on streaming.
Yep, nothing on Netflix, nothing on Paramount Plus that we could see. Um, so we went back to the old well and decided to look at Animu.
Yes, and we we decided on season two, or at least the first few episodes of season two in Spy Family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which so um, to kind of bring up our like we had covered this a little bit previously, or maybe it was my thing of the week.
I think it was yours. Yeah.
So this is one that I've been reading the manga on for a while now. In fact, I'm currently partway through the volume 10 of the manga.
Oh
As you can
wow.
as you can see, I actually support things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
um, and it's a series that you kind of have to adjust your expectations on it, in my opinion,
Hmm.
because the first few volumes create this impression of a ticking time bomb. Like, Lloyd has to get to this guy and find out what his nefarious schemes are by using Anya in the school.
Right.
If you think that there's that ticking time bomb in the back of your head as you are reading a few, like multiple volumes of kind of light, fluffy slice of life adventures,
Yeah.
um, you can get very frustrated very fast. You know what it is? It's like the equivalent of a video game where they keep saying, "Oh no, the Dark Lord is descending upon our realm, and we only have so much time," but there isn't actually anything keeping track of time in game. So you go out and just do all the side quests.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, in case somebody's been under a rock in the anime community or just isn't an anime person, I would actually call this a rather normie-friendly anime series to dip your toes in on.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the kind of anime I think I could probably show to my parents, and they would get some enjoyment out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, and Daniel, since I've been talking a lot, you want to give the people a quick synopsis of the premise of the show?
Sure. Our main character, I guess, well, I don't know if he's the main character, but it starts
That's
off with,
debatable, isn't it?
yeah. So basically, it's set in an alternate world where you've got, I think the way you characterized it in your review was it's basically East and West Germany.
Hmm.
You got Westallus in the west, and then Astania in the east, and these are two countries that are basically locked into a state of Cold War. And you've got a spy named codenamed Twilight, and he's like a typical uh, Cold War era super spy, and he's given a new mission by his superiors that he has to get close to. I can't remember what he's like, the head of the party, the political party in Astania, and
Yeah, if not a political party, at least it's like a reactionary group. Because
right.
yeah, 'cause what I was really hammered into me recently in this volume specifically, because you actually get Lloyd's backstory in volume 10,
Oh,
is
okay,
that there was actually a very hot war not very long ago,
okay,
and so it's like the two sides are eyeing each other unhappily,
okay.
and the it's like who he's trying to infiltrate is this faction that is probably pushing for a rejoinder of the hot war.
Right. And the only way he can get close to this guy, because the guy is a real recluse,
Mhm.
the only way he can get close to him is through his son. Because the only time he ever goes out in public is if he's supporting his son at this prestigious private school. So Twilight has to have a family. So
Yep.
he has to get a kid,
And
And
this is a very conservative society, so
yeah,
no single dads allowed.
right. And so he ends up getting, so he goes to an orphanage and he adopts little Anya there. Um, of course, little does he know Anya is telepathic. And then he meets Yor, um, who's a government government
No, I don't. Okay, never mind. I jumped the gun. You are right. She is a government bureaucrat.
right. Yeah, yeah, and that's her day job, and then at night she's an assassin uh, by the name the Thornton Princess. And she has what's weird funny about her is that like she has like the two personalities where like she's
Mhm.
where she's like meek and naive and
Uh,
and
Very very cute and kind of incompetent.
yeah, and then she goes into the Thorn Princess mode and she's just stone
Game
cold
game
killer.
face on.
Yeah. and and she has an odd fixation with knives.
Yes.
But so Lloyd, well, he Twilight takes on the name of Lloyd Forger, and then he and Yor get married, and then they're raising Anya. Um,
In a sexless marriage, which will come up as a key reason why the first episode of the second season can work at all.
right. Yeah, and so basically the first season is just the trials of Lloyd trying to get Anya to be a good student, so that she can get close to Damien, who's the son of the Damien Desmond, who's the son of the reactionary guy, and uh, so the two ways to do it would be either Anya be a good student or Anya be friends with Damien. Of course, she can't be friends with Damien because when they first meet, she punches him because Damien is a brat. Um, and then
Who definitely, absolutely does not have a crush on Anya. Shut up. You're an idiot for even suggesting it.
right. And so the only other way is for Anya to be a good student, but the problem is Anya is a dimwit.
Yeah, she's either now. I think that there's a possibility that she lied about her age, so
Oh,
she may
okay.
be a year behind everybody else too.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure how to read that scene because like, Lloyd is interviewing her as a possible adoption candidate,
Mm.
and he's thinking to himself, she looks kind of on the small side. Is she could be 4? Anya is 6.
Yeah.
So- and that's actually how she got the job, was that she used her telepathy to figure out exactly what to say to get the right prompt out of him.
Right. And and so when so as the season progresses, uh, they go through all these different trials and tribulations, and so then we get into I think it was at the end of the first season when Lloyd actually does get to meet uh, the Desmond guy.
Yeah, right. It's a very brief meeting, and Desmond is basically not that into him.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, so, so the
Yeah.
mission has to continue into a second season.
Right. And so then season two, um, we so kind of near the end of the first season, there were a lot of these slice of life episodes.
Right, and
Yeah.
they were like a bunch of half episodes,
Yeah.
because like they were a chapter in the manga, and there wasn't enough meat there to turn into a full 22-minute episode.
Right. One of the episodes, of course, they I forgot to mention they adopt a dog, Bond.
Yep,
And they named him Bond because Anya's favorite cartoon show was it called Spy Wars?
that sounds right.
Yeah, and the main character's name's Bondman, and he looks
Yep.
suspiciously like Lloyd, but with a mask and yeah.
Uh,
but yeah, yeah. There's a funny episode about that in a second.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so the second season opens up where Yor is off on on her missions, but just as she's finishing up, one of the guys one of her targets wasn't quite dead, and shoots her right in the butt.
Yes. By the way, I want to say I don't know if they rearranged these at all, but they lucked into or planned into kind of a perfect soft reintroduction for the series.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of episodes where you wouldn't necessarily, it wouldn't be any different if Yor wasn't secretly an assassin.
All right.
Because like you said, Yor gets shot in the butt, but she's such a superhuman that she not only survives, not only isn't dying of sepsis or something,
Yeah.
but like the biggest consequence is that she can't sit down.
Right. And uh, she's absolutely miserable, and so Lloyd
And,
takes it as, oh no, she's not happy about the marriage or the situation, whatever. So
uh,
he
I
takes her out on a date.
I need to smother her with attention by taking her on the perfect date.
Yeah.
And you also introduce Anya's telepathy because she knows what happened.
Hmm.
Eh, and you also introduce the kind of Weasley guy over here who is whose name I always forget, who is Yor's informant slash source of tech gadgetry.
Lloyd. Lloyd.
Yours to me, Lloyd's source of.
It's
I,
okay.
I
It's
always think
okay.
of Yor as a boy's name because of the stupid movie Yor the Hunter from the Future,
Oh, okay.
as reviewed way back in the day by the Spoony one, and I actually did end up seeing that, and that is an insane movie.
Uh,
But that is neither here nor there.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like so Anya tails them, um, and it's just it's a funny episode because it just is like a perfect encapsulation of what the series is
Hmm.
about the facade. Everybody gets to show off their talents and personalities. Lloyd spends way too much time planning like 800 different possible dates depending on what Yor says.
Yeah. And of course, she doesn't want to get in the limo, and so then it knocks down to like 60, I think. Or something.
Yep. Yeah. So funny episode.
Hmm.
Good opener. And I want to say I hadn't ever watched this dubbed before. I decided that since I'd watched the first season mostly subtitled, and on the ones where I did watch it dubbed, I was watching with friends, so I wasn't really focused on it.
Okay.
Um, I decided I looked up the actress. It's Natalie Van Sistine. She did an amazing job portraying Yor in that particular episode because yeah, like, where she was like just constantly in pain and miserable.
Yeah. She's like, I can't sit down.
I can't sit down. Like, so kudos there for that performance.
Yes.
And everyone does basically sound right.
Yeah.
Even Anya, which is can be a challenge for an English VA to capture kind of the high pitched squeakiness of a Japanese anime child.
Yeah. Yeah. And although she doesn't refer to herself in the third person in the dub.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Um, and so like we watched the first 6 or so episodes. I would say that it's actually a good dub.
Yeah.
Uh, I was a little bit let down that the dub ended right before what I would call the first big arc of this stretch of the series, which is basically they all go on a cruise together, which is more about Yor's missions for once than Lloyd's missions.
Ah. Yeah.
So probably circle around back and watch that again once it's all dubbed up on Crunchyroll.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, and there's like this is like a stretch of like this is another stretch of slice of life episodes.
Yeah. I will say the one. Uh, do want to mention a couple of the little stories. Of course, the one with Bondman.
Yeah, Bondman is a player, and it backfires on him horribly.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one episode in there where you see the the kind of part of the cartoon, and he gets himself a harem, and then yeah, and then it just blows up in his face.
Right, because he's recruiting a harem of former supervillains, princesses, damsels in distress, reporters, other spies.
Yeah,
It's kind of ridiculous.
yeah. And then there's another one with Damien, the kid, Damien Desmond, where he gets punished because I can't remember. I think he oversleeps. I think it was,
Yeah, he oversleeps.
yeah, and so he can't go with the rest of the kids to see a movie. But then his two cronies decide to stay with him instead of going to the movie, which made me realize those two kids are actually like really good friends.
Yeah, like
They're better friends than he probably deserves.
yeah, and he shows some loyalty to them too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's the interesting thing about this. Like, well, I mean, aside from the extremist father, I'm assuming he's a bad guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Most of the people in this show are pretty reasonable and kind people deep down.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yours uh
Siscon brother.
Siscon brother, yeah.
Oh yeah, he means well. He's just a psychopath.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
I'm
yeah,
glad that you
he
brought
could,
the Damien. I'm glad you brought the Damien focus episode because
yeah,
that was a highlight to me too. Just because it was, it's always nice when you get to see a different side of characters.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and Ninja pointed out that yeah, he is kind of a tsundere
Oh,
type
absolutely.
character. Yeah.
Now I will say part of the highlight of this show isn't so much the plot because it's mostly just haha funny. Um, the art in this series is actually really great. Um, so like and the artist is very good. Like these are very simple looking character designs, but you can see down here Anya's smug face.
Yeah.
Uh, and he's also good at you occasionally see Anya from Damien's POV. It's like she's always, she's cute as a button, right?
Yeah.
But like when they want to like emphasize how much Damien has the hots for her,
Yeah.
he like they crank up the shoujo cute to like 12.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Oh, and
Fiona,
he's talking about the minor spy character over there
right, yeah.
who has the thing
Who
for Lloyd.
yeah, has a thing for Lloyd. Yeah, and she was trying to replace Yor as to be his wife.
Yeah.
And who's oh yeah, and then Anya's friend. I
Oh,
can't remember her
Becky.
name. Becky, yeah. And Becky also has the hots for Lloyd.
That adds more fuel to the Lloyd is Bondman fire.
Yes.
But so yeah, so basically, if you somehow hated the first season, second season is not going to change your mind. Uh,
Mhm.
I would say probably look for episodes about them being on a cruise ship because those have more of a point and stress to them than anything else.
Yeah.
I would say that if you could probably come up with a like a there was the first season was 24 episodes. We have 8 so far. I
Mhm.
think of those you could probably come up with like a 10 episode playlist of plot relevant or more actiony episodes
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you'd have the opening set, getting the dog, Fiona. You could argue being
Mhm.
important, and then the cruise ship thing.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I'd be kind of thinking about drop. No, I wasn't thinking about dropping the manga, but I was getting less enthused about the manga. But that
Mhm.
cruise ship storyline was great.
Yeah.
Let the artist show off with his ability to design interesting looking characters and portray crazy action.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm glad this manga in anime exists because yeah, and I can see why it's popular. Yeah.
Yep. I think this one was actually an example of a Shonen Jump digital only series that they took a chance on and it blew up.
Yeah.
It's from a guy who had actually done a couple of I haven't read them yet, but I picked up a couple of his manga that weren't Spy Family that they came out with this year.
Yeah.
Good. but it's like it's published with the proviso. Oh, this series wasn't super, or it's like, hey, before he made Spy Family, here's Tatsuya. I think his name is Tatsuya Edos or something like that.
Mm,
Actually, I just have it right here. Uh, yeah, Tatsuya Endo. Uh,
yeah.
here's another. It's like we have this short manga that didn't last. We can sell some now because Spy Family is blown up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a real creative talent. I've had friends tell me, nah, this is gonna last for. It's gonna get. I got distracted by Holy Ninja's comment. Yeah,
Oh,
it was one of the first Shonen Jump Plus series. Yeah, so yeah, the digital only. The other popular one is getting an anime next year is Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8, I think, is one that will probably be better as an anime than as a manga, because the manga, at least to me, felt like it was My Hero Academia, but at like double speed. So
uh,
it's like they kept like it's like, wait, no, you just introduced this character. Why are we getting this character? Uh, well, why aren't we getting more of Kaiju number 8? Wait, this character's cool. Can we give them like a little bit more focus, please?
yeah.
Okay, can we get some more adventures um, just with this current status quo before we change again?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's some series that are actually aided by padding, and I think that Kaiju will be one of them.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway,
Cool.
back to Spy Family.
Yeah.
To wrap up, I had a friend of mine claim that, oh, this is going to be like Detective Conan. It's going to run for 20 years. They're never going to actually complete Operation Strix and uh, meet Mr. Desmond. I don't know if I think it's got that quite that trajectory.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think. I mean. You have to keep it moving along. Anya can't stay a little. This isn't The Simpsons where Anya can stay a
Right.
little kid
Uh,
forever.
Right, and I would also say that because okay, so like I forget if I mentioned this, but he compared it to Detective Conan, where you have this guy who was turned into a little boy, and he's in theory always trying to figure out the people who poisoned him, so he can find out what poison they used to reverse and turn back into an adult.
Yeah.
And this is a series that has literally been running for like 40 years in Japan,
Oh wow.
and he has made no progress on this.
Oof.
But I think it's because it has a very different format.
Hmm.
Because basically with him, it's always like a murder mystery.
Right.
Because he's an adult detective in a child's body, so he can figure things out.
Yeah.
Um, so like there's like a little bit of tension, but you can totally ignore the fact that in theory he's trying to figure out how to turn back to normal at all times.
Right.
This, because you have such a specific mission,
Mhm.
like if you wanted something that just ran eternally, it would have been Lloyd is told to um, slow down or else he's fired, and so he makes a fake family to specifically to mollify his bosses. Then you have a premise that can just last forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe in 2040 when the series is wrapping up, I can say, okay, fine, you were right.
Yeah.
But I think this is gonna like this is volume 10, might
Mhm.
hit volume 25.
Yeah.
I, but that's just my feel on it, is that it feels like there's some momentum in the series.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Y-
Well, yeah. Check it out. It's on Crunchyroll. So,
Yep. Check it out on Crunchyroll, or if you prefer to read, the Shonen Jump digital app, $3 a month, and you can just blitz through the whole thing in a week.
yeah.
But
Indeed.